Hi, I'm Emily. I'm a web designer and I spent the last 11 years working with wellness practitioners, therapists, coaches, somatic practitioners, and makers. And in that time, the question I get asked more than any other is some version of, how do I get found on Google? Usually followed by, I've tried a few things and nothing seems to work. Or, someone told me I need to do SEO, but I have no idea where to start. So that's what today is about, SEO. Search engine optimization in plain English for you in 2026. No jargon, no overwhelm, just a clear explanation of what's actually happening and what to do about it. So before we go any further, let me check you're in the right place. You have a website, but you're not sure it's actually working for you. You've heard about SEO, search engine optimization, and quietly hoped it would sort itself out. You rely mostly on word of mouth, and you wonder if there's more. You want to be found by the right clients without paid ads or the pressure of social media. If any of that resonates, you are in exactly the right place. And if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even know what SEO stands for, brilliant. We're going to fix that right now. A bit about me so you know why I'm the one talking about this. I'm Emily Jagger, founder of Jagger Design. 11 years working with wellness practitioners and creatives on their websites, their content, and their digital presence. Squarespace web design, SEO strategy, and content. That is my world. I describe myself as a rare mix of creative and geek. And this talk is very much the geek part. You've been warned. You can find me at jaggerdesign.co.uk. I'll share that again at the end. Right, let's start at the beginning because I think SEO has a serious branding problem. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, which tells you almost nothing useful. So let me explain what that actually means. A search engine, Google being the big one, works by sending out what are called bots or crawlers, little automated programs that travel around the internet, visiting websites, reading the content, and gathering information. They're essentially doing a very thorough filing job, going through your website, reading everything, and deciding, what is this site about? Who is it for? Can we trust it? And that information gets fed back to Google, which uses it to decide where to rank your website when someone searches for something relevant to you. SEO, search engine optimization, is the process of making sure those bots can find what they're looking for, communicating clearly with Google about who you are, what you do, and why you should be trusted. It's not a thing you add to a website. It's not a score. It's not a plugin. It's a process happening across your whole website and your whole digital presence. This either gives Google reasons to trust you or it doesn't. Now, SEO has changed enormously, and it's worth understanding where it came from because a lot of the advice floating around out there is at least 5 years out of date. The old way of doing SEO was basically about playing the algorithm. You'd find the keywords, the exact words and phrases people were searching for, and you'd use them as much as possible. You'd stuff them into your page titles, your headings, your copy, your image description. The more times Google saw a particular phrase on your site, the more it assumed that's what you were about. So you try to get as many other websites linking back to yours as possible because Google used those links as a signal of authority. And there was a whole industry built around finding loopholes, tricks, ways to make a mediocre website look like a great one. And thankfully, none of this works anymore. Google got significantly smarter. It started penalizing sites that were trying to game it. And then AI search arrived and changed everything again. The loopholes are closed, the tricks backfire, and what Google actually rewards now is something much more interesting and much better news for you. So what Google rewards now is trust. Real expertise, real experience, genuine, helpful content from people who actually know what they're talking about. It has moved from, does this website mention the right words, to, is this website run by someone credible, experienced, and trustworthy? And the way it assesses that is through what are called trust signals, little pieces of evidence scattered across your website and your wider digital presence too, that tell Google, yes, this person is the real thing. Think about how you'd recommend a colleague to a client. you'd only do it if you genuinely trusted them, right? Because if they turned out to be a bad recommendation, that's going to reflect really badly on you. So Google works exactly the same way. Every search result is a recommendation. It doesn't want to get it wrong, so it only recommends websites it trusts. Which means the whole question becomes, how does Google decide who to trust? Your money or your life? Why therapy websites are held to a higher standard. And before I answer that, there's something specific to your profession that's worth knowing about. Google has a category of website it calls YMYL, your money or your life. Yes, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a joke when I first saw it, but it's actually real, slightly dramatic. Google named it, not me. YMYL covers any website where the content could significantly affect someone's health, safety, financial stability, or well-being. So medical websites, legal websites, financial advice, and yes, therapy and mental health. Google holds these websites to a higher standard because the stakes are higher. A bad recommendation for a restaurant is annoying, but a bad recommendation for a therapist could genuinely harm someone. So if you've ever wondered why your lovely website isn't ranking as well as you'd hoped, this is probably part of why. Google is being cautious. It needs more evidence before it recommends you. And the good news is you are all perfectly placed to provide that evidence. You just need to know what it's looking for. Which brings me to EEAT or EAT. Another acronym, I know, bear with me, this one is genuinely useful. EAT stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. It's Google's framework for assessing whether a website deserves to be recommended. In 2024, Google updated its quality guidelines specifically for health and well-being content, which includes therapy, to put extra weight on EEAT or EAT. Let's just call it EAT. It added a second E for experience, specifically because it wanted to prioritize people with real lived first-hand knowledge of what they are writing about. Let's go through each one because I want you to understand that you already have all of this. The question is just whether or not your website is showing it. Experience. This is about first-hand lived experience of the work. Google wants to know that you've actually done this, that you've sat with clients, you've developed your practice, and you've learned what works. You have years of that. The question is whether or not your website communicates it. Does your about page mention how long you've been practicing? Does it give a sense of the clients you've worked with and the things you understand about their experience? Expertise. This is about your formal training and qualifications, your degree, your diploma, your CPD, your continued professional development. Again, you have all of this. The question is whether or not your website shows it clearly. Are your qualifications listed? Are they easy to find? Would someone landing on your homepage for the first time know within 30 seconds that you're a properly trained professional? If the answer is no, that's not a criticism, it's just something to fix, and it is easily fixed. Authoritativeness, can't say half of them. This is about recognition from others in your field. It's the difference between saying you're an expert and other credible sources confirming it. Your BACP or UKCP membership, your listing on Psychology Today or a counselling directory, if you've ever written for a professional publication, been quoted somewhere, contributed to a training program, all of that is going to count. And this is where directories come back in. Every credible directory listing is an authoritative signal, a recognized professional body saying, we have verified this person. That matters enormously to Google. Trustworthiness. This is about safety, clarity, and transparency. Your professional ethics, your clear pricing, your obvious contact details, easy to find, and your privacy policy. Therapists tend to be incredibly trustworthy in practice and slightly mysterious on their websites. No location, no phone number, you know what I'm saying? No obvious way to get in touch. And from Google's perspective, that's a red flag. The guide that comes with this talk, Visible and Trusted, has a full EEAT EAT self-assessment, so you can score yourself on each of these and see exactly where to focus. And that's worth doing before you change anything else. So the evidence, the landscape has shifted. I wanted to show you something that came up in my feed recently because it makes this concrete. And this is NP Digital's AI Visibility Readiness Assessment from May 2026, based on 500 marketers and business owners. These are people whose job it is to understand this stuff. Content freshness scores 4.7 out of 5, the highest factor, regular up-to-date content. We'll come back to that. Content expertise scores 3.8, genuinely expert, experience-led writing, real knowledge from real practice, which is exactly what you all have. Even among professional marketers, schema markup, it's a technical signal we'll touch on in a moment, only scores 3.9, and most people haven't done it. The bottom line says, AI engines reward consistency across all dimensions. That is, almost word for word, what I'm about to tell you. Red flags and green flags, your website. So with all of that in mind, EAT, trust signals, your money or your life, let me show you what this looks like in practice. Google is scanning your website looking for reassurance, things that make it nervous and things that build its confidence. No qualifications listed anywhere. No accreditation badge, no location, no way to contact you, big red flag. Every single one of those is a reason for Google to doubt you. Your footer should have your contact details and qualifications on every page, not just the contact page, every page. That way, no matter where Google's bots land on your site, they will find the evidence they are looking for. Your BACP or your UK CP badge, add it. That small image is doing more SEO work than most people realize. It's a recognized professional body saying, we have verified this person. A website that hasn't been updated in 3 years is a big red flag. It says to Google, this person might not even be practicing anymore. Fresh content added regularly, even once a month, says, this is an active, current, engaged professional, and that is a green flag. Now I want to talk about something slightly technical, but I promise it's simpler than it sounds. Google's bots read your pages like documents, and like any document, they look for structure. Headings tell them what's important. You have heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. Usually it's shortened to like H1, H2, and H3. Think of them like a hierarchy. Your H1 is your main heading, the most important thing on the page, the thing this page is fundamentally about. There should only ever be one H1 on any single page. One, not 2, not 3, 1. So check it. If you've got that, you need to change that ASAP. Your heading 2s are your subheadings, the main sections of the page. There might be 3 or 4 of these, and they should all relate to the heading 1. They're expanding on it, not going off on a tangent. Your heading 3s sit under the heading 2s, so more specific detail, more of them, maybe 5 or 6 across the page, but still all connected to the same topic. And when Google reads a well-structured page, it can very quickly understand this page is about one topic. Here are the key points. Here is the detail. That confidence translates into a better ranking. And when it reads a page where the heading 1 has nothing to do with the heading 2s or the heading 3s are all over the place, it generally cannot tell what the page is about, and it doesn't rank what it can't understand. Beyond headings, there are a handful of other places where you can give Google really clear signals, and most people miss all of them. Image file names. When you save a photo to put on your website, most people leave it at something like IMG4823 JPEG. That tells Google absolutely nothing. So rename it something like anxiety-therapist-bristol.jpg. Keep the hyphens and the dashes in there. No spaces. Descriptive, relevant, and suddenly your image is working for you instead of being invisible. Alt text. Every image on your website has a field called alt text, alternative text, which is a written description of what the image shows. It was originally designed for accessibility for screen readers, but Google reads it too, describes your images accurately, and include a relevant keyword where it fits naturally on that page. Your URL is the address of a page. That bit appears in the browser bar after your website name. If your blog post URL is yourwebsite.com/post1, that tells Google nothing. If it's yourwebsite.com/anxiety-therapist-Bristol, that tells Google exactly what the page is about. Categories and tags on your blog. When you write a blog post, you can assign it to a category like anxiety or grief or working with trauma, and you can add tags which are more specific descriptors. These help Google understand how your content is organized and how it all connects. None of these take long, but together they make your website significantly easier for Google to read and understand. There's a detailed checklist for all of this in the Visible and Trusted guide. Now let's talk about content, because this is where I see the biggest difference between therapy websites that rank well and those that don't. A bulk upload of 30 blogs in one afternoon, you can tell. They're generic, they're thin, they read like they were written for a search engine rather than a person. And Google has got very good at spotting this, and it's not impressed. One genuine post per month, answering a real question that your ideal client actually asks, written in your own voice with a couple of credible citations and links to further reading on your own site, is worth more than 30 bland ones. Visitors who arrive on your website and never come back are a missed opportunity. A newsletter fixes that. It gives people a reason to stay connected. It drives regular traffic back to your site, and it keeps you front of mind for when they are ready to book. The way I'd recommend thinking about it, your blog and your newsletter work together. One topic per month, you write the blog, you share it in your newsletter. Consistent, connected, useful. Over a year, that's 12 pieces of content that are all working for you, and they don't stop working when you stop writing them. And since we're talking about content, let me give you a quick sense of what a well-optimized blog looks like. Not so you feel overwhelmed, it's just so that you know what you're aiming for. One clear topic, one keyword or phrase you're writing for, not 5, not 10, one. Your heading 1 heading should include it. Your first paragraph should mention it naturally, and your heading 2s should build on it. Somewhere between 600 and 1,000 words, long enough to be genuinely useful, not so long that you're going to be padding it out to hit a number. At least one link to a credible external source, a research paper, a professional body, an established publication. This tells Google that you're engaging with credible information and not just making things up. You know what you're talking about. We know that. Google does. At least one internal link. A link to another relevant page on your own website. This helps Google understand how your content connects and keeps people on your site for longer. And also when people make journeys on your website, that's a really good signal for Google. Don't forget a clear call to action at the end, not a hard sell, just a natural step. So if someone found this useful, what would they do next? Read another post, book a call, download something? Tell them. And your image, named properly, alt text written, relevant to the topic. Don't forget to add images because they are really, really, really good for SEO on blogs. There's a full anatomy of a blog post section in the Visible and Trusted guide that walks through every single one of these elements with examples, and it's worth reading before you write your next post. So I want to pause here and say something important because I think it's genuinely reassuring. The old SEO, the keyword stuffing, the playing algorithms, the trying to find loopholes, none of this works anymore. Google has essentially made a decision. It wants to surface real people with real expertise, communicating genuinely. It wants the actual expert in the room, not the best optimized impersonator, which means the rules have changed in your favor. You are not a generic content farm. You are a trained, qualified, experienced professional with genuine knowledge and genuine care for the people you work with. And that can only be a good thing for everyone here today. The problem has never been that therapists lack what Google is looking for. The problem is that their websites don't show it. And that's what the rest of today is about, fixing that. Right, let's get practical. These are the 4 things I hear from therapists every single week. 4 challenges they get between them and being visible online. I can't use testimonials. I don't know which words to use. The directories always outrank me. I don't know what to write about. Let's go through each one, the problem, the reframe, and exactly what you should be doing. Most businesses build trust through reviews and testimonials. You are ethically prevented from using client testimonials, and it can feel like you're starting at a real disadvantage. But here's the reframe. Google doesn't only look for testimonials, it looks for evidence of trust, and that's a much broader category than reviews. Your About page, done properly, is worth more than 10 testimonials. Qualifications listed clearly, years of experience mentioned, why you do this work, and who you help. Your professional membership badge, add it to your website. It's a recognized body saying this person is qualified and accountable. Google can see it and it matters. Google reviews from supervisors, referrers, GPs you work alongside, colleagues who know your practice. These are completely ethical and genuinely useful. You can still use these. I just wanted to say that you need to remember to write with some warmth. The clinical distance that might feel professional to you can feel cold to someone searching in distress at midnight. So let your actual humanity come through. And here's the gap between how therapists tend to describe what they do and how their clients search for them. A therapist writes on their website, CBT therapist for generalized anxiety disorder, a person-centered counsellor offering EMDR and somatic work. A client types into Google at 11 o'clock at night, help with panic attacks, Bristol. Why do I feel anxious for no reason? I can't stop overthinking. And my personal favourite, and this is a real search, someone actually did type this, can't stop overthinking, therapist. Your clients are not searching by modality. They don't necessarily know what CBT is. They're describing what's happening to them in their words, and you need to write for that. So think symptoms, not modalities. One specialism per page. Go hyperlocal. So therapist for NHS workers in Leeds will have almost no competition and will be an exact match for someone searching for that. And use Google's own suggestions when you type in a search. If you type in something relevant and look at what it predicts, and those are real searches, that's free research. The reaction I get when I mention directories is, but they always outrank me. And yes, they do, for broad searches. But here's what most people miss. Every time you're listed on a credible directory, a recognized professional body is essentially vouching for you to Google. And that's an authority signal, one of the EEAT elements we talked about earlier. So being listed on a BACP or a magazine like Psychology Today, counseling directory, these aren't just ways clients find you directly. They are telling Google that this person is real, verified, and part of a recognized professional community. So optimize your profiles fully, fill in every field, use the words your clients search for in your bio, add your photo. A half-filled profile is a missed opportunity in two directions. So think of directories as your shopfront on the high street and your own website as your actual practice. You want both of them working. Here is the simplest content advice I can give you. What do your clients ask you most often? In a first session, on an initial call, in an inquiry email, what do they ask? Whatever just came to mind, that is your next blog post. So, not a topic you think you should write about, not something you Googled to see if it was popular, but the actual question that real clients ask you in their own words. Because here's the thing, if your clients are asking you that question in person, they're also typing a version of it into Google at midnight. And if you've answered it on your website, in your voice, with your expertise, you're the person who comes up. 600 to 800 honest words beats 2,000 words of padded content every time. You don't need to write essays. You need to be genuinely useful. One post per month, consistent, connected to your newsletter, same topic, shared with your list. 12 pieces of content a year, each one building your authority a little bit more. You are not giving therapy by writing a blog post. You are reducing stigma. You are helping someone understand that what they're experiencing has a name and that support exists. And that is a generous and professional thing to do. Google Business Profile. I want to give this its own moment because it is genuinely one of the highest impact things you can do. It's completely free, and most therapists either haven't done it yet or have a half-finished profile, gathering dust, which makes it a really good thing for you to do and complete and to keep at and update regularly. Because the Google Business Profile, previously called Google My Business, takes about 20 minutes to set up, and it puts you on Google Maps. It tells Google you are a real active operating business with a physical presence, and it shows your contact details, your website, and your location or location area directly in search results before someone even clicks through to your website. And that last part is significant because someone searching for a therapist in your area could see your name, where you are, and how to contact you without even visiting your website. And that's a powerful first impression. So go to google.com/business, set it up this week. It's one of the easiest green flags you can give Google for free. And once it's set up, keep it updated. Add photos occasionally. Make sure your hours and contact details are current. A neglected profile is better than nothing, but an active one is significantly better than a neglected one. And just one tip on photos quickly. Don't use stock images. Use your own photos. It could be just some interiors of your office, anything. Just add your own images and no AI images. So I don't want to leave you today with a long to-do list. Long to-do lists are how good intentions go to die. So I want you to leave with 3 things, 3 highest impact actions you can take right now this week. So 1, rewrite your about page, not a 2-paragraph summary with a nice photo. You want to expand it, a proper professional biography, your qualifications, your experience, how long you've been practicing, why you do this work, who you help. Make it rich, make it human, make it the most compelling thing on your website. 2, set up your Google Business Profile, free, 20 minutes. Go to google.com/business, massive green flag. Do it this week. 3, write 1 piece of content, 1 question your client asks most often, 600 honest words in your own voice, 1 internal link, 1 external citation, a clear next step at the end, a call to action, publish it. That's it. Those 3 things will do more for your visibility than anything else I could tell you today. And when you're ready to go deeper, the Visible and Trusted Guide covers everything we've talked about today and more. EAT self-assessment, the blog post anatomy checklist, technical SEO checklist, 20 blog post ideas. It's all in there. So thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I want to leave you with the thing I most want you to take away from this. SEO used to be about playing the algorithm, finding the loopholes, making a mediocre website look like a great one. But Google has put a stop to all of that. It has made a decision. It wants real people with real expertise communicating genuinely. And it has built an entire framework, EEAT, specifically to find them. You are a trained, qualified, experienced professional who genuinely cares about the people you work with. You have experience, you have expertise, and you have authority. You have trustworthiness. So Google is literally looking for you. All you have to do is make sure that your website shows it. I'm at jaggeddesign.co.uk. I'm at Jagged Design Creatives on Instagram. Come and say hello. You've got this.